Alright guys, I'm back. I'm really sorry about that. My son jammed his finger in the dresser drawer and I had to go calm him down. I attempted to actually come back and finish the video. I actually did finish it and I ended up losing the second half of this video. So I'm going to have to go ahead and try to redo the second half of this video. So because of my time constraints here, I'm going to actually have to condense the second half of the video to actually make it shorter, and that unfortunately the second half was the part that had the meat and potatoes of all of this. So I'm gonna, as best as I can, try to summarize everything as quickly as possible because I'm restricted in time. I don't have as much time to do that again like I did last time. So without further ado, I'm going to try to get back into this information as quickly as possible. Just bear with me. Also, guys, I put a lot of time and work into this. If you could just go ahead and give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, share the video, I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to get my view count up, trying to get my subscribers up, and I'm going to be trying to produce more content in the near future. If you really like this content and you want to help me with the effort, feel free to send me a PayPal donation. Just it's mypackets@yahoo.com or dgthompson7@yahoo.com. Send me a PayPal. Any amount would be great. I really appreciate it. I haven't got any donations yet, but I would like to get better equipment to bring this kind of stuff to you in a more professional manner. Anyways, without further ado, let's get back into it. All right. In characterizing the threat of environmental war, Israel incites the following potential geophysical warfare techniques: the creation of windows in the atmospheric ozone layer, the hostile deployment of ultra and infrared acoustic fields, the manipulation of atmospheric electricity to depress mental activities of large groups of people, the tactical deployment of guided lightning, the thawing of Arctic and Antarctic ice caps through nuclear explosion, the triggering of destructive tidal waves by artificial underwater earthquakes, or by dumping massive blocks of bedrock from the continental shelf into deeper portion of the ocean. In regard to U.S. weather warfare research and development, the author refers to the United States work in progress on methods of changing the nature of lightning in order to increase its power and to direct high-energy lightning bolts at specific targets. The Institute for Study of the Brain of University of California is cited as engaging in research on the debilitating effect of weak vibrational fields in human behavior. Experiments on the stimulation of earthquakes by underground nuclear explosions are reportedly underway in the Nevada nuclear test site, while other methods of triggering artificial earthquakes are being tested near Denver, Colorado. Israel concludes that the particular danger of environmental warfare lies in the possibility that the aggressor nation may be secretly, over the course of many years, employing any of the whole arsenal of hostile geophysical techniques against the other nation, which would be unaware of the origin of the natural disasters affecting her and thus incapable of initiating any counteraction. So essentially, attacking a nation in secrecy, and making it look as though it's a natural phenomenon. Make it seem as though some kind of conspiracy is going on. And anybody that says we were just attacked, it make it look crazy. Like, what do you mean we were just attacked? It was lightning. It was a thunderstorm. It was a tornado. You really think they can generate tornadoes or lightning to destroy our stuff? Come on, get out of here. You think they can create a earthquake? You're crazy. You're crazy. You're tinfoil hat man. No, you're not crazy if you believe that, because it's right here. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to go a little bit farther back in this report here. Let me see if I can find it here. Another section of this report, weather modification. Phase transitions of water in the atmosphere devotes particular attention to crystallizing aerosols and hygroscopic and surface active substances as regulators of evaporation and of condensation processes. Transformation of internal structure of clouds discusses condensation, coagulation, and crystallization processes as reversible and irreversible phenomenon, drawing considerably on the author's work. Artificial turbulent fluxes in the atmosphere describes the potential capabilities of the meteorotron in the artificial stimulation of atmospheric convection, so stimulation of thunderstorms, and present theoretical diagrams of meteorotron updraft generation under different atmospheric conditions. This material is reviewed. Okay, subject. Okay. Management of cloud processes gives an overview of Soviet rockets and artillery hail suppression techniques. Artificial dispersal and creation of fogs. Modification of electrical processes in the atmosphere briefly examines cumulonimbus seeding with chaff with crystallizing agents such as CO2 and thunderstorm mitigation by altering the crystallization potential of cloud water. Climate transformation. I really can't say too much because I'm under time, guys. I'm going to go to this next one. I really think this next one is, I'm under time constraints. This next one is probably, in my opinion, the most important one for you to read. This is a DTIC that was put out in, I think it was 1996 or 97. So let me zoom in on this. Research paper presented to the Air Force. This was a goal for 2025 that they had here. And I'm going to go back to my notes. This paper really what it focuses on is it theorizes a lot of possibilities in environmental warfare that we should be capable of doing by 2025. So this was written in 97. So we're way past the publication of this one, and so you can. I highly recommend if you read one paper that you would read this one. What I'm going to do here, it talks about so much in this paper. It's only 53 pages long. You guys, you could get this done in about an hour. Just read it in about an hour. So in 2025, U.S. aerospace forces can own the weather by capitalizing on emerging technologies and focusing development of those technologies to war-fighting applications. So let's scroll down here. Some of the capabilities would be flood lines of communications, reduce PGM effectiveness, decrease comfort level. This is These are operational capabilities to degrade the enemy forces. These are the capabilities to degrade the enemy's forces, and these are the capabilities to enhance our forces. So deny fresh water, induce drought, disrupt communication radar, deny concealment, and increase vulnerability. So we're gonna. I really got to try to zoom through this. So we're going to type in spoofing here. And what spoofing is essentially making something seem that making it seem as though something is there that's not really there. Okay. Offensive abilities could provide spoofing options to create virtual weather in the enemy's sensory and information systems, making it more likely for them to make decisions producing results of our choosing rather than theirs. It would also allow for the capability to mask or disguise our weather modification activities. So essentially what they're trying to do is they're making it seem as though there's a thunderstorm or some kind of big storm brewing so that the enemy decides to keep their air force on the ground or decides to not mobilize a certain force into a certain area. And the storm is actually not there. So it's a mirage that is appearing on their radars. So essentially tricking their radar to believe that there's a storm somewhere. All right, and so we're going to go ahead and type in decrease precipitation. Let me see. Actually, it's decreasing precipitation. Let me go here. Decreasing precipitation. All right, so a couple pages later. All right. So although the capability to influence precipitation over the long term, we advocate that the DoD explore many opportunities resulting from the development of a capability to influence precipitation or conducting selective precipitation modification. Although the capability to influence precipitation over the long term is still not fully understood, by 2025 we will certainly be capable of increasing or decreasing precipitation over the short term in a localized area. So they could essentially induce a drought in a certain area, which would create a famine. So they can create famines in other countries. They'll be able to create famines. And I'm saying that they can do it now. They've been able to do it for a long time. We're going to go ahead and type in carbon black here. Now, carbon black is used to induce heating in a certain locations throughout the atmosphere. So what that does is it helps to create a thunderstorm. It creates precipitation. Okay, so I'm going to go here. This study by William M. Gray investigated the hypothesis that significant beneficial influences can be derived through judicious exploitation of the solar absorption potential of carbon black dust. The study ultimately found that this technology could be used to enhance rainfall on the mesoscale, generate cirrus clouds, and enhance cumulonimbus clouds, so thunderstorm clouds, in otherwise dry areas. The technology can be described as follows. Just as black tar roof easily absorbs solar energy and subsequently radiates heat during a sunny day, carbon black also readily absorbs solar energy when dispersed in microscopic or dust form in the air over a large body of water. The carbon dust becomes hot and heats the surrounding air, thereby increasing the amount of evaporation from the body of water below. As the surrounding air heats up, parcels of air will rise, and the water vapor contained in the rising air parcel will eventually condense to form clouds. Over time, the cloud droplets increase in size as more and more water vapor condenses, and eventually they become too large and heavy to stay suspended and will fall as rain or other forms of precipitation. The study points out that this precipitation enhancement technology would work best upwind from coastlines with onshore flow. All right, so we're going to go ahead and type in to fall. So this is forcing. This part is going to talk about forcing the storm to fall, so the rain would fall. In addition to using stealth UAV and carbon dust absorption technology for precipitation enhancement, this delivery method could also be used for precipitation suppression. So like I said earlier, creating a drought and ultimately a famine in an area. Although the previously mentioned study did not significantly explore the possibility of cloud seeding for precipitation suppression, this possibility does exist. If clouds were seeded using chemical nuclei similar to those used today, or perhaps a more effective agent discovered through continual research before their downwind arrival to a desired location, the result could be suppression of precipitation. In other words, precipitation could be forced to fall before its arrival in the desired territory, thereby making the desired territory dry. The strategic and operational benefits of doing this have previously been discussed. Like I said, guys, I really think that this would constitute a war crime, because you would essentially be making an entire region, which is home to innocent civilians, be going through a drought or experiencing a famine. That should constitute a war crime. If that doesn't constitute a war crime, I don't know what does. Okay, so microwaves and lasers. So I'm going to talk about microwaves here. All right, microwaves. All right. There are some emerging technologies which may have important applications for fog dispersal. As discussed earlier, heating the most effective dispersal methods for most commonly occurring type of fog, unfortunately, has proved impractical for most situations and will be difficult at best for contingency operations. However, the development of directed radiant heat technologies such as microwaves and lasers could provide new possibilities. Lab experiments have shown microwaves to be effective for heat dissipation of fog. However, results also indicate that energy levels required exceed the U.S. large power density exposure limit of 100 watts. Okay. So essentially they're working on fog dispersal so that an enemy could not conceal their movements in the fog. So we're going to go ahead and, man, I wish I had more time here. Let's see. We're going to type in trigger a storm cell. So in this next section here, it's going to talk about essentially triggering the development of a thunderstorm. Let's see. All right, so let's go to this one right here. All right. Weather modification technologies might involve techniques which would increase latent heat release in the atmosphere, provide additional water vapor for cloud cell development, and provide additional surface and lower atmospheric heating to increase atmospheric instability. So when you increase atmospheric instability, you increase the potential of developing a thunderstorm. Critical to the success of any attempt to trigger a storm cell is the pre-existing atmospheric conditions locally and regionally. The atmosphere must already be conditionally unstable, and the large-scale dynamics must be supportive of vertical cloud development. So, the focus of the weather modification effort would be to provide additional conditions that would make the atmosphere unstable enough to generate cloud and eventually storm cell development. The path of storm cell, once developed or enhanced, is dependent not only on the mesoscale dynamics of the storm, but the regional and synoptic scale atmospheric and wind flow patterns in the area, which are currently not subject to human control. So, okay. Sorry, my son's messing with the door there. All right, as indicated, the technical hurdles for... Okay, so in that section, they're talking about triggering thunderstorms, lightning modification. We're going to type in lightning modification. All right, sorry about that, guys. Okay. As indicated, the technical hurdles of storm development in support of military operations are obviously greater than enhancing precipitation or dispersing fog as described earlier. One area of storm research that would significantly benefit military operations is lightning modification. All right, guys, sorry about that crying in the background. I think my son's starting to get tired. Most research efforts are being conducted to develop techniques to lessen the occurrence of hazards associated with lightning. This is important research for military operations and resource protection, but some offensive military benefit could be obtained by doing research on increasing the potential and intensity of lightning. Concepts to explore include increasing the basic efficiency of thunderstorms, stimulating the triggering mechanism that initiates the bolt and triggering lightning such as that which struck the Apollo 12. Possible mechanisms to investigate would be ways to modify the electro-potential characteristics over certain targets to induce lightning strikes on the desired targets as the storm passes over their location. In summary, the ability to modify battlespace weather through storm cell triggering or enhancement would allow us to exploit the technological weather advances in our 2025 aircraft. This area has tremendous potential and should be addressed by future research and concept development programs. So, then we're going to talk about charging. We're going to go up there and type in charging. Okay. A number of methods have been explored or proposed to modify the ionosphere, including injection of chemical vapors and heating or charging of via electromagnetic radiation or particle beams, such as ions, neutrons, particle X-ray, particles, electric. It is important to note that many techniques to modify the upper atmosphere have been successfully demonstrated experimentally. Ground-based modification techniques employed by the FSU include vertical HF heating, oblique HF heating, high-frequency heating, microwave heating, and magnetospheric modification. Significant military applications of such operations include low-frequency communication production, high-frequency ducted communications, and creation of an artificial ionosphere. Moreover, developing countries also recognize benefit of ionosphere modifications. Okay, so then we're going to type in simulated weather. And there's so much more to this. I just don't have the time. I really hope that you guys would take the time to go ahead and read this. So while most weather modification efforts rely on the existence of certain pre-existing conditions, it may be possible to produce some weather effects artificially, regardless of pre-existing conditions. For instance, virtual weather could be created by influencing the weather information received by an end user. Their perception of parameter values or images from global or local meteorological information systems would differ from reality. This difference in perception would lead the end user to make degraded operational decisions. Nanotechnology also offers possibilities for created simulated weather. A cloud or several clouds of microscopic computer particles, all communicating with each other and with a larger control system, could provide tremendous capability. Interconnected, atmospherically buoyant, and having navigational capability in 3 dimensions, such clouds could be designed to have a wide range of properties. They might exclusively block optical sensors or could adjust to become impermeable to other surveillance methods. They could also provide an atmospheric electrical potential difference, which otherwise might not exist, to achieve precisely aimed and timed lightning strikes. Even if power levels achieved were insufficient to be an effective strike weapon, the potential for psychological operations in many situations could be fantastic. One major advantage of using simulated weather to achieve a desired effect is that, unlike other approaches, it makes what are otherwise the result of deliberate actions appear to be the consequence of natural weather phenomena. So let me read that again. One major advantage of using simulated weather to achieve a desired effect is that, unlike other approaches, it makes what are otherwise the result of deliberate actions appear to be the consequence of natural phenomena. So they're essentially attacking a nation without them realizing it. The nation that's being attacked simply thinks that the weather is crazy, and that the weather is a natural phenomenon destroying their infrastructure or destroying their, and this by its very nature is indiscriminate. So it would attack civilians and harm civilians. Using this kind of technology should constitute a war crime. Anyways, let me get off my soapbox there. This, of course, discounts research and development costs. Okay, so I think that's going to be it for this. I think what I want to do before I close out this this document here, I want to read an excerpt from Chapter 1, Scenario. Imagine that in 2025, the United States is fighting a rich but now consolidated, politically powerful drug cartel in South America. The cartel has purchased hundreds of Russian and Chinese-built fighters and has successfully thwarted our attempts to attack their production facilities. With their local numerical superiority and interior lines, the cartel is launching more than 10 aircraft for every one of ours. In addition, the cartel is using the French system SPOT, positioning and tracking systems, which in 2025 are capable of transmitting real-time multispectral imagery with 1 meter resolution. The United States wishes to engage the enemy on an uneven playing field in order to exploit the full potential of our aircraft and munitions. Meteorological analysis reveals the South America typically has afternoon thunderstorms on a daily basis throughout the year. Our intelligence has confirmed the cartel pilots are reluctant to fly in or near thunderstorms. Therefore, our Weather Force support element, which is a part of the Commander-in-Chief's Air Operation Center, is tasked to forecast storm paths or trigger or intensify storm cells over critical target areas that the enemy must defend with their aircraft. Since our aircraft in 2025 have all-weather capability, the thunderstorm threat is minimal to our forces, and we can effectively and decisively control the sky over the target. The WFSE has necessary sensor and communication capabilities to observe, detect, and act on weather modification requirements to support U.S. military objectives. These capabilities are part of an advanced battle area system that supports the warfighting sync. In our scenario, the sync tasks WFSC to conduct storm intensification and concealment operations. The WFSC model the atmospheric conditions to forecast with 90% confidence the likelihood of successful modification using airborne cloud generation and seeing. In 2025, uninhabited space vehicles, UAVs, are routinely used for weather modification operations by cross-referencing desired attack times with wind and thunderstorm forecasts. The SPOT satellite's projected orbit, WFSC generates mission profiles for each UAV. The WFSC guides each UAV using near real-time information from a network sensor array. Prior to the attack, which is coordinated with forecast weather conditions, the UAV begin cloud generation and seeding operations. UAV disperse a cirrus shield to deny enemy visual and infrared surveillance. Simultaneously, microwave heaters create. So this is the part where the HAARP conspiracies start to get in. So simultaneously, microwave heaters create localized scintillation to disrupt active sensing via synthetic aperture radar systems, such as the commercially available Canadian search and rescue satellite-aided tracking system that will be widely available in 2025. Other cloud seeding operations cause the developing thunderstorm to intensify over the target, severely limiting the enemy's capability to defend. The WFSC monitors the entire operation in real time and notes the successful completion of another very important but routine weather modification mission. This scenario may seem far-fetched, but by 2025 it is within the realm of possibility. I'm saying it's within the realm of possibility right now. The next chapter explores the reasons for weather modification, defines the scope, and examines trends that will make it possible within the next 30 years. So, just a second here. I'm going to go get my son a bottle, and we'll get right back. Here you go, buddy. Take that. All right. Now, because I'm limited in time right now, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of summarize these next two as best as I can. So this is a Department of Defense appropriation bill from 1996. It essentially funded the HAARP program somewhere. It was close to like $75 million. So if you go to this link up here, right, and then search in the page for HAARP, it's going to show you right here, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. It was researched, or it was 65,000 thousands of dollars. So this is 65. This really is 65 million, plus another 10 million, so 75 million. Okay, so that's when they were funding it. And then if you want to see some of the research projects that came out of the HAARP project here, just go to Google Scholar and type in HAARP. You're going to get thousands of results of these are all research projects using HAARP, and you can just click on them. And most of the time, if you scroll all the way down to the acknowledgments, you'll see that it was all funded by the Department of Defense. I mean, there's so many, so many of these research projects. I don't have any time to go over just about any of them with you. But you can see acknowledgments. This research has been carried out with support from HAARP, Office of Naval Research, Air Force Laboratory Defense, so DARPA. Okay, so the Department of Defense essentially sponsors them all. They give them money to conduct all this research, and they, allow them to use HAARP. And let's see. So you go down here to the acknowledgments. DARPA, Defense Advanced Research, Office of Naval Research. So that's where they're getting their money. And what I found, a lot of things that HAARP was used for was it was used for heating the ionosphere. It was used for jamming sensors and communications and increasing the quality of our communications. And it was also used for underground imaging. And I just don't have time to show all those to you. Here's one for underground imaging. This is a report, underground imaging structure using HAARP. You guys can go ahead and read through this report here. It's very long, very lengthy. Like I said, I don't have any time to go through all this stuff with you. But guys, I think that's going to be it for today. If you stuck with me for the entire video, thank you very much. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I hope this shines some light on the conspiracies surrounding weather modification and HAARP and some of the capabilities of using radio waves in weather modification. I put a lot of work and effort into this, so I really would appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe, and share. I would love to hear your feedback on the quality of the videos. If there's something you think I can do to make these videos better, please let me know. Stay tuned. I do have other advanced other research projects that I'm working on, so I will be putting some new content out in the near future. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you again. Bye.